Hi everybody, it's Big Red here for BoLS, and we are doing a Dystopian Wars battle report today. We haven't done one of these before. It is me versus BushidoRedPanda. Hey, and we are doing Empire of the Blazing Sun versus Empire of the Blazing Sun. We both coincidentally happen to have these, and we're doing a little game. This is 800 points. This is more just kind of a skirmish game for us to kind of talk about the game, walk you guys through the mechanics, kind of see how it works overall. We also have B-Dub. He's over here. Say hi, B-Dub.
Hey!
He's like the Fonz of wargaming. So we'll go through our little 800-point fleets here. I have a squad of 5 Fujin-class corvettes, 3 Inari scout gyros. We have 2 squadrons of 4 Uwatsu-class frigates, 2 over there. 1 battleship, and Yuri-class destroyers, 1 group of 3 of these, and then I have 2 squadrons of tiny flyers. I have a group of 5 over here, and then another group of 5 over here behind this island, and both of those are torpedo bombers, which are very good for Blazing Sun. Our board overall is 4x6. We'll kind of walk you out on it. We have our glossy water table over here. We have these islands. We have these areas over here. These are treacherous waters over here, which are dangerous for larger ships to move through quickly. They don't really impede small ships. And Bushido, what do you got?
I've got a squadron of 4 destroyers.
All right.
I've got the Black Wolf.
Oh, that's a submarine right there. It's submerged.
It's submerged right now. I've got my flying carrier, Sky Fortress. I've got 3 fighters flying cap for it. 2 heavy cruisers. The large heavy walker.
All right.
My war gyro with 3 squadrons of fighters flying cap, and my 2 squadrons of torpedo bombers.
All right, and we will be seeing who goes first, and we'll get back to you guys real soon. Okay, we're through the first half of turn 1. We've decided to kind of do battle reports for Dystopian where we're going to do one in the middle, right in the exact middle, when both players have finished moving half of their vessels, and then we'll do another one at the end of each turn. So in Dystopian, it's full interleaved by unit turn sequence, which means I have 8 units as part of my fleet. Bushido has 8 of his, so I move 1, it takes all of its actions, fires, and then he does, and it goes back and forth and back and forth. So as you can imagine, from a battle report point of view, it's kind of tricky because, you know, how do you really do it? So we've just said, you know, I'm going to move 4 of mine, he'll move 4 of his, and then we'll give you kind of a mid-game, a mid-turn, you know, how it's doing so far. So at the end of 8 units worth of movement, what's happened here is, compared to how we started, a squadron of my frigates moved up. The squadron of destroyers and the battleship and the flyers have kind of all advanced, and everyone of my 4 has been firing pretty much concentrated on this squadron of gunships that Bushido moved up. These things are just tough as nails, and they're really nasty. He moved up those. He moved up his walker. He has his missile destroyers over here, and everything that has been moving up has laid into that squadron of frigates. 2 of them are dead. That's about it. Everything else is fairly ineffectual. Back here, 1 of these frigates is on fire, has suffered a point of damage, and everything of mine that is laid into that 1 gunship has put 4 points of damage on it.
Yeah.
So it's it's pretty hurt, and that's where we are. And we'll talk to you guys at the end of 1. Okay, guys, we're at the bottom of 1, and the second half of all of our units have moved up. Nothing died, strangely enough, at the end during that entire second half. The corvettes that had deployed here moved up. They're really fast. They're into the treacherous waters. They took a bunch of shooting at those missile frigates. Didn't do anything. Over here, the big giant war gyro moved up and is kind of on the island, and it fired. It blazed away with everything at the scout gyros over here. Totally whiffed. And then, other than that, we had our 2 squadrons of tiny flyers are just kind of moving up to get closer. So where we sit at the bottom of 1 is we have 1 gunship fairly damaged. We have a couple frigates were sunk. And other than that, everything is now much, much closer. So I'm going to expect that turn 2 there's going to be a whole lot of pain coming. So we'll talk to you guys in the middle of turn 2. All right, we are back. It is the top of 2, and it was super eventful. So all kinds of cool stuff happened. If you notice here in the middle, there are some things that there's less ships here than there were before. So right off the bat, the big thing that happened was the battleship blazed away along with the this squadron of frigates at the crippled gunship, sinking it. Then we had a back and forth attack with torpedo bomber squadrons from our tiny flyer. So Bushido sent in this squadron of 5 torpedo bombers, which in the new 1.1 rules are just hellacious, and they completely laid into the battleship. They hurt it. It's not, you know, in terrible shape, but you know, it did suffer a critical. It has a half AD right there, so its weapons are only half as effective as they were, and then we had a return fire. I had one of my squadrons moved up here and did a spectacular triple crit, 24 points of damage on the second gunship that was there, sending it from, and that is a very robust, difficult target to attack, sending it from completely intact to under the waves in one torpedo strike. So it is no longer with us. And then over here, the last bit of the top of 2 was Bushido had a squadron of fighters who were flying cap for his flying carrier. They broke off after seeing the effectiveness of that torpedo strike. So the 5 fighters broke off from cap, flew over here, and engaged my squadron of the second squadron of torpedo bombers. They destroying 4 of 5 of them. So that squadron is pretty much in terrible shape, and they're not going to be doing much anymore. So we'll talk to you guys at the bottom of 2, and it looks like it's going to be a fun one. Okay, we're back. Stop laughing, B-Dub. It is the bottom of 2. It seemed like not a lot was going to happen at the bottom of 2 because we both didn't have a huge amount of stuff left, except that the what is that thing called again?
The Tasha Aki Heavy Walker.
Yes, that. It sashayed into the water here and unleashed its special Knees of Fury move. You'll notice it has little guns on those knees. Each of those things shot at a different target and sunk 3 of 4 boats that it decided to shoot at. So all my little remaining kind of little pipsqueak squadrons over here gone, thanks to those the knees. The big gun on top, of course, did nothing.
But its rockets did sink the other.
Its rockets did. It did, however, throw rockets over. There was it's sad. It's sad. So we're headed into 3. It is looking like my last lone torpedo bomber who was over here. He's going over here on a sad lone trip to try to deal with one of those 2 markers, one of which is a submarine and one of which is a decoy. So we're going to see how that works out. But in general, we're headed into turn 3. It does look like my lots of little squadrons strategery is inferior to the only big things strategy that Bushido is using. We will see how it turns out. Talk to you guys soon. All right, we're at the very end of the turn of 3. We didn't actually do a mid-turn 3 because we both had such a small number of squadrons left that there was no point. So this is pretty much going to be it. The game is effectively over. I don't have a whole lot left. The Bushido's fleet still has plenty of squadrons left. Almost, I have 1 squadron of scout gyros and a battleship that is in pretty bad shape, and that's about it. And there's an intact battleship there, flying carrier, and a war gyro here, and lots of flyers. So what we're going to do is we haven't actually shown you the mechanic of how the actual dice work. So how we're going to end the game is Bushido's war gyro. Let's see, what are we going to do?
All right, there's 2 turrets, one in the front and one in the back.
There they are. There's
one
right there.
270-degree angle shooting. So they're both going to link together to fire at the battleship.
And they're going to fire at this guy. So
they're 8 dice each. So the first one is going to have a full 8 dice, and the second one is going to be half. So it's going to be 4 more dice. So 12 dice total.
And that's how it works when you link weapons. So if you link identical weapons, the first one of the type gets its full firepower, and then every additional one that's linked gets half. So we have a grand total of 12. And here we go. And we're looking for 4s, 5s, and 6s.
4s, 5s, and 6s.
And if they're 6s, they explode and they roll again. So we have, all right, so there's the 1 6 right there. We roll that one. Oh, another 6. All right, go again. And a 2. So we're done. So that is a grand total of
9.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is
Shields.
you look at the. I have a shield generator, so I have 2 dice, and then tap to stop those, which I do not. Need a 5 or 6. So that's 9, and if you look on the battleship stats, it has a DR rating of 6 and a CR rating of 11. So if you do 6 points of damage, it takes it takes a hit, and if you do 11, it takes a critical. So
Just a point.
Just a point of damage. So it has already taken 4, as you can see there, so that knocks it down to 5. The battleship is a big, heavy ship. It can take a total of 8, so that damaged it. And then the second weapon that we have
rocket battery
is a rocket battery.
And it's going to shoot the middle flyer over
This
there.
guy right here. Okay. Whoa. That is there are 2 6s in there. All right. Okay. So total is
11.
all right, 11, and we get anti-aircraft from the squadron, which is a grand total of we have they're 4 each. 2 of them are in range, so that is going to be they're linking as well. So
All
we
3
have
of them are in range.
Oh, okay. Oh, right, because he's firing at the one in the center. So these 2 can both contribute anti-aircraft to it. So he gets his full 4, and then link 2 from him and 2 from him. So that
1 from the other guy because he's damaged.
that's true. He's already damaged. So we got 4, 5, 6, 7 dice, and these dice are attempting to cancel out his hits. We got 2 6s right there, and we roll those. No. Okay, so we'll take out all of these, and so those cancel out. Those cancel
7
out.
left.
7 left against his, and these flyers are a 4/7, so that is enough to cause a critical. So he takes 2 points of damage, and the critical is a 10, which is a fusion leak. And there we go. The War Gyro's attack is over, and you can tell it hit him. Its rocket attack was good. It did a critical to this flyer through an anti-aircraft barrage of the entire squadron, and that is what an attack looks like in Dystopian Wars. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Okay, we're back, and it was a victory for Bushido's fleet. As you guys saw, it kind of moved up into the central channel. It slowly fought its way towards the battleship, destroyed the battleship. I had my scout flyers over on this far island. They kind of held their own, but pretty much everything that moved out, all the small squadrons that moved out, the corvettes, both squadrons of frigates and the destroyers, they kind of moved up, did some damage, but they just were all sunk in turn with very little return damage. The squadron of 2 gunships took a huge amount of firepower, but they went down. And then it took pretty much all the rest of my fleet to sink that large walker and send its knees of fury under the waves. So, Billy, what do you think?
I think this is battle in particular was a really good demonstration of the flexibility and usefulness of air power, particularly because Bushido had several large flying units, which gave him the flexibility to put firepower where he needed it on the board. In particular, having the 2 squadrons of torpedo bombers being able to focus on your battleship.
Oh yeah.
They're particularly deadly because they hit on 3, 4, 5s, and 6s, and they're throwing a lot of dice. In addition to that, the Empire of the Blazing Sun torpedo bombers in particular also force a reroll on concussion.
Right.
So your first round of hits from concussion that would normally block those torpedoes get forced to reroll.
Right.
And have a good chance of missing and having those torpedoes get through. I believe that's the fast torpedoes,
Yeah.
MAR.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then also Jay capitalized on his carrier bringing 2 squadrons of fighter planes, which in particular are great for hunting down torpedo bombers and neutralizing those. So he didn't have to take the reciprocal damage that you could have dealt out to him. So
yeah, I was only able to get into 1 torpedo strike, whereas I suffered, I think, 3, which was just brutal.
Yeah, that was particularly brutal. I think your Inaris they did their job well. They got close to the middle of the board and parked.
Those are the scout gyros he's talking about.
Yeah, they have the altitude skimming rule, which allows them to go all stop in an obscured fashion, and can only be attacked with ACAC at that point. So no guns or ordnance can shoot at them. That makes them particularly good for sort of area dominance of the center of the map. Jay just basically tried to avoid all that and go around it, so which was pretty smart. So yeah, there you have it. And I also think, you know, I don't see corvettes being utilized very often, and I think your corvettes actually did surprise me in that I think they got underestimated and they got in early on his Hashitaki and were able to put some initial damage on it, which made it easier for the rest of your ships to take out.
Right.
So, very cool demonstration of a lot of different tactics, particularly air power.
All right. And there you go, guys. Our first Dystopian Wars battle report. Hope you like the board, the fleets, and we will be back with more of these in the future. Talk to you guys later.